You are more greater than you think you are. Because see, thinking has to limit us. It has to define something, you see. Place a box around it, and then that's it. Oh, I can define it, that's it. I'll call this snow, and that's what it is. Well, not really, and there's kind of liquid. Even if I call it water, it's like I'm naming things. That's not what they are. That's just some name. Sounds could have been named. This was Judy, and this is a Fred. I don't know. It's just these words. But you're more than you think you are. And because the world is operating in the mental realm, in that sense, if you notice, everybody's thinking, talking, reading, studying, writing, analyzing, learning, it's all in words and knowledge and information, information about who says what about what, and who says what has to be the way it is, and nobody else is, and then somebody else. It's all this stuff. And a lot of all these narratives, all these stories about what's true and what isn't true, and where this came from and that came from, and all. And yet, it's cool. I'm not saying anything. And yet, you have to be able to focus where you put your attention as to whether or not this information or knowledge is going to help you attain the divine goal or objective. And the objective, no matter wherever you would be to be always fully and completely who you are in every aspect of your divine eternal being. Yes, these are still words and labels. But get us to a feeling, a sense, a knowingness. And because it's so undefinable and so, what would you say, ephemeral, that you can't get a grasp on it, and it's who you are. So it's always wanting to label ourselves or define ourselves by a role we're playing, but you're not the role you're playing. And yet, if you have playing the role of mother, then you got to know what is a mother and what is, because it's the first teacher of the child, and also by our own health standard at the time, how we took care of our body at the time of conception by both the male and the female will have an influence on the kind of body and the health and vitality of that particular body form that living entity is going to be expressing through as their child, you see. And then the child is a role. But problem is that when we take these roles and we either identify ourselves as that's all we are, or we use that role to abuse, to dominate someone else, or to gain something by their loss, to gain pleasure by their pain and their suffering, whether it's a child or an animal or any person, even themselves, that not even to abuse yourself. And these people are so that would do that have been so abused and are so abused and abusing. And that it's like what may I say? We're not who we've been taught we are, and therefore that is something you must find out on your own from the sources available to find out where that is. And I think one of the best books is the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm not putting down the beloved teachings of the Essene Gospels of Peace as the original teachings of Yeshua, the teacher of righteousness, and Essene, and bringing the same teaching, because truth is truth no matter where you find it. And when we all say that only this has the absolute truth and not that, most of these truths are finite, depending on rules and regulations of the people in charge and what they want to do. But what is it that you can count on under any and all circumstances? And that's what you need to know, we all do, and be in that state now. And so when you look at the roles you're playing, you could be great parent, and that's what you want to be, or if you're going to be in a relationship. But you're not the relationship. That's not who you are, and you're not the parent, and you're not the child. These are all relationships. And you are the person who is having the relationship. And the first one, but yet we've not been taught that, is a relationship you have with yourself, your God presence within. And it'd be really wonderful to teach children breathing meditations very early on so they know how to calm themselves and they get basic instruction on who they are. And that's what I used to do when I would teach Sunday school. And I would teach it by actually example. These people were just so much fun. They're little. I said my first congregation were biters, scratchers, and spitters. And they weren't polite. And they were just wonderful. And yeah, it was great. They taught me how to be a good teacher. So anyway, but I wasn't the role. And when we think we are the role, then we have to defend it and promote it all the time. Well, I am this religion. I don't call myself a religion. Because as soon as you do, you limit yourself. Then you've got someone against you, for you, and all that. I don't want to do that. That's like waste. Because then I'm being sucked for, but I have that natural calling or affinity for the knowledge, and where I find that, and then I like to share that, and you do your thing. But what really has helped me, many things, many past lives, I used to do a lot of rebirthing, and I used to do breathing under the water in the hot tub with a snorkel for like 3 hours at a time. And just to process old beliefs, old concepts, old lives and everything. And also when I got to the very topmost question, I couldn't know more, I felt my mind stop like a tape recorder and rewind, and I went, I got it. It's a recording at some level, because there are no new original thoughts here. And all that is original is spiritual and divine, and that's who you are. You are the original. But so we have the roles that we're playing, but when we begin to believe we are the role, and that's our identity, and that's all that we are. And then the building of our identity has to do with what other people are thinking. Will you get approval, not approval? Will you make a lot of money, not make a lot of money? We're doing all of these things to think of ways to manipulate other people to be our slaves and servants to do exactly what we want. And reason is we're natural givers. And we have to look at that. This is our nature to give. And when you stop giving, in a sense, you dry up. And the giving it doesn't have to be it's not just a physical thing. It is a sense of really wishing others well and harboring no hatred or resentment. No matter who these people are, what they've done, don't take on their hatred and resentment. You stay where you are. They get what they get, and I want them to be, to come to full self and God realization, and sing and dance and have festivals with everybody. Everybody's happy, and the animals are dancing and singing. You say, well, you're really weird or far out. Well, not so. There is that all is a reality, and what you want to look at is you're more than the roles you're playing. Play the role the best you can with His greatest love and intention for the highest good of all, but know who is also sourcing you in the divine dance. Yeah.